Hi ladies and gentlemen. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about artificial insemination. Stay tuned.
I'm learning my purpose, and I'm learning to love myself again, and I'm seeking to love again. So here's my dating chronicles.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this might be a touchy subject. Artificial insemination. It's something that people have been doing for years, have been able to have children, and when it's been hard to find a mate, or when your mate sperm wasn't good enough to produce a baby, it's been the go-to for many women to be able to go into a medical facility and be inseminated with sperm. Now, this is great. It's helped a lot of people to have a child or children. But when it boils down to it, is it right? Is it a good thing to do? And I'm saying this because of a situation that happened to some people I know. And then it was funny because when I found out what happened, I ended up watching a TV show where the same thing happened. Crazy. But with the people I know, it happened more in depth. So I'm going to kind of tell you about what happened to them, because not many people know what's going on. So, me discussing this is not going to be an issue, and I've already gotten their permission. So, what happened is both of the parents, their mothers, went and got artificially inseminated in a facility in the same town. Both of them couldn't conceive with their husbands. So they decided to go to this facility and get artificially inseminated. Well, they never told their children what happened. They never told them anything. They ended up meeting each other and dated and moved in together and ended up having a baby. There ended up being issues with their child. And people couldn't figure out how, there was something wrong with the baby. There's nobody in their family that's have any disorders or anything. So it kind of shocked the family that this happened. So then years later, they turned around and had another baby. Same issues, same problems. Couldn't understand why, no one in the family generations have had any disorders and their children were. So, just, all these commercials that have been coming on about checking your generation and see, where your family is from and all of this. So they decided to do this. And turns out after they did these tests that they found out that they were brother and sister. So they went to their parents thinking, okay, well, our mother or my mother, somebody cheated with somebody. Well, that wasn't the case. Both of the mothers had got artificially inseminated, and apparently they both received the same sperm. Now, a couple of days ago, I watched a television show where this happened. The couple found out they were related, and they were seeking help through a psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist was trying to help them to understand, okay, you didn't know you were brothers and sisters, you fell in love, and he was actually trying to encourage them to stay together. I'm like not understanding any of this, because brothers and sisters. So, back to my friends. Once they did find out they were brothers and sisters, it hurt, because they had been together for years and they were in love. Their connection was just amazing. Like, everybody used to wonder, like, how their love for these, they were just amazing. Well, they were so amazing together because they didn't even realize they were related. The genes in their body, their DNA, pulled them together to the point where it was a super connection. So trying to separate and trying to figure out what to do and how to deal with the situation has been a struggle for them. It has been an emotional struggle, to the point where the female in the situation has just regressed from even talking to anyone a lot, and the male in the situation almost committed suicide. So I think we as people need to realize there's some things that we just don't need to do, that we're creating destruction among ourselves. Okay, I understand you might be having a problem, an issue, having children. I understand this. And you want children. But there are so many children out there that need to be adopted. And I understand you might want to have your own child. I understand that. But why not find someone that you know to provide the sperm? At least you would know how many children that person has or who are their children. So your child won't date them and marry them or have children by them. If we're going to do things like that, let's use some common sense. Because apparently these sperm banks don't keep good enough records to make sure that two women in the same city are not receiving the same sperm and not telling them whose sperm they have so their children won't date. Oh my goodness. So let's think about this, ladies and gentlemen. In the process of dating, now you actually have to really think about, growing up, my parents would say who their parents and who are their grandparents, and we did that because our parents and grandparents wanted to make sure you weren't dating somebody you were related to, because they knew the horrors of what could happen if you marry and have a child by someone that you are related to. So it's hard to do that now, because you can ask a person who they're related to or who their grandparents are, their mother, but you don't know whether the mother got artificially inseminated. You don't know any of those things. And now you don't even know if the mother or the father cheated. So life is too hard to even have to figure this out during dating. I mean, gosh, when I said in the first couple episodes to make your list and to ask questions, I mean, gosh, are you going to have to ask those questions too? Your parents artificially inseminated? Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, this is too much. It's hard to see your friends go through something like this and you don't even know what to tell them. Only thing you can tell them is, okay, hey, you are related. I know it's hard to let it go, but gosh, it's not their fault. It really isn't. And it hurts, because to see a couple that was amazing together have to separate, have to leave each other alone, and you have two children together, beautiful children together, that you have to now raise as co-parents and then try to live for them, but at the same time fighting through what you had to endure. It's hard to have to see a man that you love that you know you can't be with, or vice versa, to see a woman you love that you can't be with, not because you hate each other or not because you cheated on each other, but because you found out you're related. It's crazy. So now, what do we do when it comes to dating? How do we deal with situations like that when it comes to dating? Well, first of all, if you're a parent and you're watching this, you have to be open and honest with your children. Yeah, you might not want to tell them when they're 10 and 9 and stuff, but when it gets to be time for them to start dating, you need to tell them the truth. Tell them what's going on, what happened, what did you do to conceive them. I mean, even the cheating part. You cheated. You better know who you cheated with and who their children are. So your child won't date them. Oh my God. This is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. So, in dating, now I realize there are a lot more things that we have to deal with. And thank God, this is something I don't have to struggle with. But I'm thinking to myself, even if the person isn't my brother or my, how can you not even know they're not your cousin? That's something else to think about too. Like, oh my God, I just thought about that. Because my father and my mother had me together. It wasn't none of the extra stuff. But imagine if I'm dating someone and I marry someone who could be my first or second cousin. Going through the same thing. So that's something else you have to think about when you're dating. And it's sad to say that, but we have to be like our grandparents. Like my grandmother, Riola, just said, oh my God, she used to get on my brother's nerves when they were trying to date women. And she was like, who are they related to? Oh no, that's your cousin. You can't date them. Oh, they dreaded hearing it from her. But when you think about it, that's important. Like, we got to get back to the ways of our grandparents and start asking, who are these people that our children are dating? Where do they come from? What do their parents do? All of that stuff, because it's important, and we've gotten away from that. And getting away from that has caused a lot of problems and issues. We got to get back to that. I mean, it's just like when you get ready to marry somebody. Back in the day, they used to require that you did a blood test. They don't require that anymore. So imagine marrying somebody that you might not even had sex with or been around sexually in any type of way, just to find out a couple of months later that you've gotten some type of disease from this person because they didn't tell you. We gotta get back to what some of these traditions and things that our grandparents and parents did. We gotta get back to it. We gotta start requiring it. Even if the government doesn't require it, we need to do it. We need to make sure it happens. We need to let our kids know what they need to do. If we don't, it's no telling what's gonna happen to our generations to come. It's sad. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think now you need to add that to your list. Add those questions to your list. And if you're getting ready to get married, you might want to get some blood tests done. You never know. It's crazy. So, I'm not going to say my friend's name, but please put them in your prayer. Because it's a struggle. It's enough depressing things going on now in this world to have to deal with something like that. To have to emotionally deal with that. And then to have to raise your children together in some form or fashion. And to see each other. I know what heartbreak feels like. I know what it looks like. I've been there where I felt like I couldn't breathe. So I know how they feel. So please put them in your prayers. And think about what we're doing to this world. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful day. Please be safe. Think about what you're doing before you do it.
Listen, boy, even through the broken heart, the cheating and the lying, my love's still yours, and that's no lying. We were meant to be together through adversity, so I felt the need to let you know that you're